you're watching Channel UFX. My name is Craig and this is Roadster. Now, it's got 5 wheels, 4 wheels, 2 wheels, 1 wheel. If it has an engine and it made an impact in the auto industry, then we're there to cover it. And that brings us to the beautiful city of Coimbatore. Sharp sunlight during the day, kind of chill during the night, but more specifically, what's inside at the Moto Expo 2011 will blow your mind. We're talking about bikes and cars, but not just any kind of bikes and cars, the ones that started revolutions in their own time. A whole lot of vintage bikes and cars that started way back in 1940 to the present day. Things that changed the way people started engines with, things that changed the way people rode or drove with. And we're there to find out what makes them tick, but more specifically, what makes them look as good as they do. So you guys stick around. They say a 4-wheeler carries your body, but a 2-wheeler carries your soul. And you ask anybody in Tamil Nadu, the one thing that people go gaga over here and the rest of India are bikes. Not just because they're economical, but because it's pure and unadulterated freedom. Now, we're talking about a passion, and a person who houses a passion from a very, very long time with bikes that don't just range from 2010, 2011, but go back all the way to the 1950s, maybe even older. Meet Mr. Muthukumar. How are you, sir?
Hello.
All these bikes, you've got a whole bunch of bikes. What are the years, what is the oldest bike you have on this line?
Oldest bike in the sense you can call James ML. At present, this one is 1942.
What is the latest bike that you have on this line?
In this line, my latest bike, Kawasaki 100, KH 100, yeah.
Which year?
1982.
What is your favorite bike among all of these?
Ariel Red Hunter, I like it very much.
Why?
If you observe properly the British biking history, you would have seen in every aspect of the technology advance, there will be at least 1.5 decades above, I mean advanced to other guys.
Alright, so what about the big bikes? So you've got a lot of big bikes actually over here. You can call them big bikes. This was actually the start of the huge engines that came about. Tell me a few of the ones you have over here.
Because most of them are thumpers, that is, they are single cylinders. And this one, this Norton is a war-derived model. It has its own identity of that period. Norton is well known for its technological advance and everything. 16H, it's a sidewall 500cc sidewall engine. It was picked from MP and from the military junkyards only. After that, to this position, I have completely restored with complete parts. Importing, sourcing, compare, my friends, but 100% stock. That I can be very much sure about it. To my knowledge, best of knowledge, even a Norton museum doesn't have this much details. That I am very sure about it.
So what about let's talk about the Honda 125 you have over here also.
This Honda 125, this is a bit special because there are plenty of Honda 125. This is a K3 version. Because K3 version exclusively made for this Japanese market only. Now it's none other for export, even for Americans. Then it has a self-start version, 4-speed.
You have one more bike down there. You have a Fury. Tell me about the Fury then.
It's an extraordinary bike. It's an India's first 5-speed. It's India's first alloy wheel. It's India's first disc. India's first day flash unit. Day flash means instead you start in your sports bike, your parking light starts. Such a way, it's a build quality. It has a 12-pole ignition. Though it's a 6-volt, it has a 12-pole ignition coil and all this stuff.
The technique to ride this bike.
Yeah, many people say there's in between there's neutral. It's not like that. There is a tendency for false neutral, and the throw is too long. How come we short Indians itself we feel is too long? How come Germans all 6-footers they say it was a cool scene? But maybe not that.
So
but
it's basically built for people who are big, who ride big people riding a big bike. Okay, now let's talk about your favorite over there, the Ariel and the famous James and the Triumph. These three. I've clubbed my favorite, one that's still existing and producing bikes and big bikes at that, and you have your Ariel. What is special about the Ariel to you?
Ariel Red Hunter starts from 1930s itself. Till the company closed down, shut down the doors, it was Red Hunter. It is Red Hunter 500cc VH. This one is NH, 350 NH, VH, then Fieldmaster. After that, BSA took over the company. Then it fitted with the AA650 engine and all these things happened. But any point of time, if you go through the British bike history, especially in the Stumpers, this Ariel would be at least, that's what I told, at least 2 decades in design they'll be ahead of them. That's it. If you see, for example, this one, you can see in that period in 1954 itself, they had their alloy drums, aluminum alloy heads, fulcrum brakes. You can't imagine 54 having a fulcrum brake. Even I'm not offending, because even the latest still existing company, till up to 70s, they had that sheet metal drums and all these conventional rod brakes and all this stuff. They had that fulcrum brakes, that kind of.
How about the Triumph?
This one is a 3T, it's a basic 3T tune. That's special about this is a deluxe version. It has a sprung hub on it. Sprung hub. Though it's a rigid frame, this sprung hub actually I'd need a bit of illustrations to explain that. But the rigid feeling, you can't feel it. Okay. It's a very special about. That's what it's called 3T Deluxe.
Okay, so we're still talking about the James over here, which is a very, very rare bike I've heard from a lot of people to source and bring back to absolute stock.
Though it's a rare bike, I've been lucky to get 2. Though it was running condition, but totally it was out of place. But mine was totally a basket job. I got things done and all these things. It works to its full potential. Even I can challenge for a dynamometer test to that spec. It's a Villiers engine. Though always James, they don't have their own engine, power plant. They source from Villiers. This has a twin power. That's a special about it. It has a very good mid-range power. That's why it was used in our Indian circus, I believe. I guess, maybe.
All right, we'll have to actually check on our history. But at the end of the day, you have got a big range of bikes over here. And if you want to restore a bike, this is the man to come in. From the iconic and rare famous James to the powerful and globally appealed raw stance of the Yamaha RD350, 2-stroke engine motorcycles have always held complete freedom and appeal from anyone who's ever ridden them. It is, and they will always be, the best bikes to ride. But of course, the Achilles heel of those motorcycles were wear and tear. You could use up the parts just like that. They spent more time in a garage than they actually did on the road. But what we're about to show you is, well, chaotic poetry of sorts. Here's how it's going to work. It came down to 4-stroke engines. These engines could last, better mileage, more power, and they said one thing about them. You could never do stunts. You could never do wheelies, you could never do donuts. These engines didn't have the torque or the capacity to do any of those things. Enter the Dogfight Gang, a group of professional stunt bikers from Cochin who decided 3 years ago that they wanted to go pro. So they took 4-stroke engines, non-modified, and did amazing things with them. You are going to see what they can do. It's not a lot of basic stunts that they're doing. There's a lot of burnouts, a lot of donuts, a lot of wheelies, a lot of standees, a lot of pretty much everything that's happening. And they're doing this all on TVS Apaches. So what we're going to do a little later is we're going to catch these boys. We're going to find out what makes them tick. But more specifically, how many bones did they break before they could get to do this? When did you start?
We started 2-3 years back, and we started coming to the spotlight 2 years back.
How did it start? How did you guys say, okay, I like doing stunts on a bike, so we should make a professional team and we should start doing this for professional guys?
Our team as Team Dogfight Gang.
Why Dogfight Gang?
Dogfight, the phrase came from the aircraft, the World War Fight. So we decided for a variety name.
So you did that, and then, but how? How did you say?
We started practicing in close environment spots. There was a lot of issue with the locals, but we came to the fame light and we started doing shows for colleges, Techno Fest, and TVS is also sponsoring our team. So we decided to do this as a profession.
So what was the worst stunt you've ever done and the worst accident you've ever had?
Once I did a rolling stoppie and I just flipped off and broke my collarbone. Yeah, collarbone.
How many months were you on bed?
3 months. Yeah.
Pain was really bad, no?
Yeah, pain was really bad. No pain, no gain. That's
No pain, no gain. But at the end of the day, remember, like he said, controlled environment, keep it very safe. If you want to try something like this, get the proper gear and prepare. No pain, no gain. When was the first time you said, I want to do a wheelie on a bike?
It all started 2 years back when I started to see, when I met Jinan. He is actually a star in our local area. He's not only local, he's an international famous guy. His name is CD Jinan. Whenever I say the name itself, I will get the real pumping is there. Yeah.
Who are your idols? Like you said, your idol was over there from...
Yeah, my idol was CD Jinan, and after all, in about standing, it started with Sultan, Chris Pfeiffer, and now I'm a big icon of Jorian.
What do you see your team doing in the future?
We have a couple of ads coming through. We have done a tire ad like Ralston tires, and we might be doing a TVS ad also soon.
What is the toughest stunt that you've ever done?
High chair, no hander wheelies.
High chair circles.
High chair, no throttle, sir.
Everyone likes the high chair over here. That was the Dogfight Gang, a really cool group of professional stunt riders from Cochin, and we hope and wish them all the best in their future endeavors. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode of Roadster. We're going to take a little bit of time to see the sights and sounds and give you a little bit of a taste on what you can see next week. We're graduating from 2 to 4-wheelers, in fact, iconic cars that built the big, dangerous, powerful machines that we dream about driving today. We're going to see that all next week, so stick around. In the meantime, if you have anything you'd like to tell us, then feel free to send us a mail to feedback@channelufx.com. You guys take care, and remember, drive safe and always wear your seatbelt.